Hello. What's today? It's Tuesday. I got it. We're good. I know what today is. Happy Tuesday. So someone asked me a question today. And after I delivered the answer, I was told I needed to talk about this in a live video. So why I don't use sarcasm, and just to be straight, y'all, I am not perfect. This is something that I became aware of and now make an effort to avoid. And here's why. I've talked about before conscious language. I probably mentioned the book. If I haven't, I will again a lot. If you are in my Facebook group, Heart-Centered and Intentional Horsewomen, you've definitely heard me talk about it because it was a focus during the Adventure from Outburst to Peace challenge that's going on right now. I believe that was last week that we talked about that conscious language. And that's part of why I don't use sarcasm, or why yes, we're just going to leave it as I don't. Okay. Because perfection isn't a thing, but at least making an effort is good, right? So I'm working on it. So I don't use sarcasm because I read this book called Conscious Language, The Logos of Now by Robert Tennyson Stevens. And there is so much gold in that book, so much gold. And this is kind of something that I became aware of before reading the book, but not specific to sarcasm. So before reading Conscious Language, someone had brought to my attention that we use a lot of words in a way that they're not intended to be used, especially when we speak with sarcasm. For example, this is just a really rough example, but you're killing it, dude. Are they killing it? No. Like, we're telling them they're doing an awesome job. But to kill something is to end its life. There is nothing good and positive about that. And that may happen from time to time, but we need to become aware of how we use our words, because words are powerful. So here's the thing with sarcasm. The word sarcasm, translated sark, just that first part, is actually means the tearing of flesh. Why on earth would you want to use, why would you want to tear flesh? And if you're speaking to someone using sarcasm, you're doing it to cut them a little bit, right? You're cutting them down. Maybe you're joking, but in most cases, it's not a positive thing to be talking to someone with sarcasm. And the word itself, the definition is literally tearing of flesh. Why would we want that? We don't. So we don't use that. We don't use that. And so a couple other things that we had this discussion about earlier was this person that asked me, told me that I should talk about this. She specifically asked about saying things like, oh, I'm dying for a piece of cake. And the thing is that our brains process that word for what it means. Our brains are literal. So when you're saying, I'm dying for a piece of cake, your brain goes, we're dying? Where? Well, let's just prove this to be true. Where are we dying at? And your brain obviously manages your entire body. We don't need to be telling nothing about this physical body that it is dying. Okay. So anyway, it's that power of the word situation. That's why I avoid sarcasm now. And so when she said, like, what else do I say? Here's the thing. When the way we use that, and even say, you're killing it, dude. Our emotion behind it may be positive, but our brain interprets the word literally, which becomes a real confusing mess. So you're not going to find replacement words necessarily. You can, but they're not as obvious. You have to be aware. You have to be looking for a replacement word, or just say something so old Englishy and so, I don't want to say uppity. No, it's not uppity. Proper. Be proper and say you would love a piece of cake. I don't know why that needs to be British, but it does. So you and like I understand it's not as it doesn't seem as cool or as it's definitely not as easy because we are around that type of language all the time, but it's important to know and to let your body know that you are not in fact dying for this piece of cake. You would love to eat this cake. It would be fantastic. You're not dying for it, and you will not die because you don't get it. So also stop saying you're starving. Okay. Aside from the fact that you are not, hopefully, if you are affording internet to watch this, a phone to watch this, and all that, you're not starving. But don't tell your body you're starving. Okay. Like the thing is that these words are so powerful that you could be telling yourself that you're going to die without that piece of cake. You guys, that's the beginning of a food addiction. That's what that is. You're speaking a food addiction into life. I'm dying for a piece of cake. I'll die without that cake. Okay. Not a good plan. Not a good plan. I'm starving. Well, what happens? I mean, I'm not a doctor and I haven't studied this, but like seriously, what is starvation mode? And if you convince your body that you are starving, I mean, I've heard things about starvation mode not being good for your metabolism. So I'm just saying the words that you say turn into beliefs in your head. Okay. They become beliefs. And what your brain believes is what will happen. So let's not convince ourselves that we are dying, that we are starving, or any other manner of things that aren't exactly what we want to bring into our world. Okay. So that's my little, that's why I don't use sarcasm, because it's the tearing of flesh. And ironically enough, we often use sarcasm with people that are close to us. And I certainly don't want to tear their flesh. So I'm out on that. All right, you guys, have a fabulous night, and I will talk to you later.